All right, everyone, welcome to another Saturday session. Today we are talking about equipment and all the different types of equipment. We'll hit on some financing tips. We'll hit on warranties, what is covered and what's not covered, as well as insurance, what is covered, what's not covered. And so, as we do each and every Saturday at this time, noon Eastern, we like to start with a recognition of who's in the live room as you're watching the replay. That's the biggest part of the value of being here for the live, so you can ask questions, interact on real time with our guests. So I am going to go ahead and yield to Miss Donna. Oh, and I've still got this screen on. I'm sorry. So Miss Donna, for your introduction, and then I'll let you point off
Okay.
to the guests.
All right. Well, happy Saturday, everybody. I'm traveling, so I'm speaking pretty low. Um, it's always a pleasure that to jump on here on Saturday, and I look forward to all our topics. Um, if you don't know me, I'm Donna Shepherd, the co-founder and driver of uh, director of driver relations at the African American Women Trucking Association. And if you're not a member, you should be, because we advocate heavily on behalf of African American women in trucking and the logistics space. We believe in supporting, empowering, and uplifting and making sure that we are the voice. We do have a seat on the FMCSA, so we speak loud. Again, thanks for putting this together. Always, Lada. That's membership definitely has its privileges. So thanks again, Lada, and I'm excited about our trip today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. We'll go ahead and yield to Miss Natasha to do her introduction. I'm getting some people asking for the message now, so there we go.
Good
Natasha? Okay,
morning.
there you
I'm Natasha Jones, CEO of HD Screening and Laboratory, and I'm also the Director of Mental Health and Wellness at AAWTA. We are excited for these Saturday sessions every week, and we encourage people to come out and support and learn. There's a lot of things coming down the pipeline for the health and wellness sector for AAWTA, and this upcoming Monday is going to be paid research study for African American women in trucking industry. So please sign up. It's free information, and it's going to give you a lot of insight on this research study and how we can help out the trucking industry, especially women. So very, very important. What we do for AUTA is we provide medical compliance. So that's your DOT drug screenings, your physicals, and for companies who have one or two or more employees, we also help you start your corporate wellness program as well. So we hope that you will reach out to us, and I'll put my information in the chat.
Thank you, Natasha. And so let's go on to a chat so we can see who's all in our live room. And so, Scott, would you like to go ahead and do your introduction?
Hi, everybody. My name is Scott Leandra. I'm one of the principals for Power to Power Lithium APU systems, and real happy to be part of this group. I'm sorry I missed last week's meeting because I saw the recorded version and got a lot of good stuff out of it. So I'm really looking forward to being involved and being part of the team.
Thank you, Scott. And look, it's always open. Same time, Saturdays at noon Eastern. It took me a while to get used to it too, because we're in the same time zone. So,
Mhm.
well, cool. Thank you, Troy. Are you available to do your intro? And cameras are optional. Troy, can you hear me? If Troy is not available, Carissa, are you available to do an intro?
I am. Sorry, you know how me and this Zoom buttons are. I'm like, okay, what screen am I supposed to be in? Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope you all had a great week. I'm Carissa Carter. I am a proud affiliate of AAWTA. My hat goes off to Lotta and to Nicole for all of the work that they've been doing with this great group and organization. I am an intermodal trucking agent out of the ports of Charleston, South Carolina. My company is CM Transportation. I've been an entrepreneur in this industry for the last 13 years. I've actually been in the transportation logistics industry since 1999. So I have saw the sides of the steamship line, warehousing, and I found my niche in intermodal trucking. I am a proud mentor of those who are interested in getting started in the trucking industry, as well as those who are interested in learning intermodal. I love to speak. I love to help. I'm a people person. If there's anything that I can do for you or your team, please feel free to reach out and contact me and let me know. Carissa Carter, CM Transportation, and I'm the founder of the Charleston Truck Expo. Um, I I leave that out sometimes, or I forget about that sometimes, but it is a big deal. I always like to say we're going to bring this expo to a city near you. Um, but my passion is to make sure that the information that's up here in my head is available to those who are in need and who are looking for it. So I appreciate being a part of this platform. All of you all that are here, I promise if you haven't joined AUTA or if you after you participate in one of these networking calls on Saturdays, refer a friend, go ahead and sign up. But all gas, no brakes. We're going up from here. Thanks, Lotta.
Thank you, Carissa. Look, she brought the energy. Usually we're greeted with our call with our own um, light bulb. I was I was gonna call her something else. Nicole,
That's
who
right.
has
That's
like
right.
all this energy and such. And I think I've been fasting for the past 3 days, and I'm not allowed to have coffee. And I think my body is like revolting today. So I'm usually a
Well,
little more bubbly too. So thank you for bringing that energy. Thank you for all you do, Carissa.
thank you,
Um,
man.
and Troy, are you available now? I know he asked for a few minutes, but Tammy, if you're available to do a quick intro, again, our cameras are optional. Oh, I think I saw Troy. Troy or Tammy. Okay, did I lose Tammy? Troy, are you available? And we're gonna get right at it, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to speak as we move forward, just let me know. I am actually feeling like I'm doing the presentation of maybe 3 or 4 people right now because I've been notified a little last minute that, we had some shifts, but, if there's one thing you can count on in the trucking industry is a change. And so if you're not familiar with our website, that is what's streaming live right now, AAWTA.org. On here is also where you see the list of events. If I can come right here. So under events, you'll just scroll for the different links and all the things we have coming up. As Natasha said, here's that paid research study and how you can get involved. And you see there's multiple dates. We have a training on how to start a trucking insurance agency. We have our virtual general meeting for our members only. So, as Carissa said, if you're not a member yet, you're not able to come to this event, but make sure you're connecting and even find out more about the specials we have in regards to membership. So please visit our website. There's always some new stuff on here, especially in that events tab. And then that brings me to our marketplace tab. If you are a member and have not yet submitted your marketplace information, please do so. Marketplace is where we have our member exclusive discounts on all the different things and services offered. And you see that we cover not just what you would think was only in the trucking industry, but things such as life insurance and insurance in general. And I was trying to find another one that wasn't as niched in career services. So there is a place for all services because truly trucking is an industry and an industry of people. And so anything that you have that can serve people will be of great use and benefit here. Let's go right into our discussion for today. And it was about equipment. And I actually had two people that were supposed to be here that are not. And who are kind of more of an equipment expert than myself, but I'm glad to lean a bit on Ms. Donna in regards to the different types of equipment while I find a visual to help us kind of better get into that. So, Ms. Donna, if you're available, and I know you said you were traveling, actually, here's one of the people that could probably help with the
Sorry, I
equipment
was
company.
trying to.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. What did you say?
Can you talk real high level about equipment? I'm gonna pull up a visual here and just what are some considerations in, well, just high level again, talking about how there's so many different types of equipment out there in
Well,
trucking.
right, from the smallest of um equipment that you can think of to things like APUs. We use so much on the road. You see a truck driving, open the door, you see so many things to make our trip more convenient. Our tractors are tiny houses on wheels. So everything has to be there for not just our comfort and convenience, but for safety and everything. So an APU, for instance, and please don't ask what it means in what the initial means, but it's instead of running your truck, you know, 24 hours a day and never turning it off, having your AC, you can actually turn the truck off and the APU. Hello?
I'm here. I
Oh,
did hear that echo,
oh,
but
oh,
you're good.
okay. So, but it gives us the comfort that we need instead of burning gas all day because I never had an APU initially. So I never turned my truck off. My tractor ran 24/7 unless I'm out of it. Um, but it's your AC that it's an AC unit, and of course it's a heating unit. But that way you don't have to turn your truck off. Um, things like that. Very, very, very important because imagine you're in that truck how many hours a day? Driving through how many states? Yeah. So our comfort it's vital.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Donna. And luckily, we have a APU specialist here that can go a little more into detail of the auxiliary power unit. So it's kind of like a generator, as you were just saying. So I appreciate your description and how people use it so we can go deeper into the conversation. But Aaron just joined us. And Aaron, if you'd like to do your introduction, and I would like you to tell us a bit about your shop as a quick plug, if you don't mind.
Hey, how you guys doing? Once again, appreciate being a part of the platform. My name is Aaron Miles, co-owner of All American Truck and Trailer Repair. We're located at 4325 Moreland Avenue, Conley, Georgia, 30288. Also operate a leasing company out of the state of Tennessee. So pleasure to be here, and looking to chime in when I can and offer some advice. So.
Awesome. If you wouldn't mind sharing that information in the chat, we'll make sure that gets to everyone. But let's again start on this high level. And this is an open discussion, you guys. I just wanted to bring some education with this because I think this is an area where many people that are researching may not realize there's so many choices. And so I just quickly pulled this up just to be able to look at the different types of loads. And let me also just double check because I just got a message. Troy, were you able to come on? No. Okay. because there's so many different types of equipment. So that's what makes it challenging in the logistics and trucking space, is because you may be receiving information as it pertains to dry van, but you may have some other special considerations if you're not doing dry van. And so, hold on, I'm sorry, these messages. Okay, so Troy, are you available?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and do your
I didn't
introduction,
mean
sir.
to interrupt you. You could have continue to go on, do what you're doing.
That's
But
okay. Because
but
I don't want to skip you. So
okay, thank you. So everyone, thank y'all. Lotta, thank you for this opportunity to just to share who I am and what I'm doing. First of all, I want to give a shout out for Lotta. If you don't know Lotta, make sure you know her, connect with her. She has a heart of gold, a servant's heart, a leader's heart. She's always willing to help and support others. So that's the first thing I want to say. But my name is Troy, and I am a demolition specialist. So I help people to eliminate debt. And that debt could be, listen to this, it's a 30-year mortgage, credit card debt, student loan debt. I help them to eliminate it between 5 and 7 years, legally and ethically, without refinancing, without restructuring, and without changing their lifestyle or their budget. So if you know anybody, business debt or personal debt, we can help. Please reach out to me or reach out to Lada. She can give you my contact information. That's one of the things I do. I do numerous things, but that's one of the things that I'm really trying to help people on, help people eliminate debt and increase cash flow and build wealth. Thank you, Lada, for the opportunity.
thank you, Troy, for being here. And yeah, so you guys, again, I think people misunderstand how it's like, okay, when we say trucking, I might only be talking about the truck, the tires and such, but there's a lot of other components that you have to have a very holistic way of understanding how the industry works in order to be beneficial and such. So let me go back on here again. I'm sorry, I got a little, like I said, coffee is a wonder drug, you guys. I'm really feeling deficient for not having it today, but it's my last day. So again, when we're talking about trucking, there's power only, which just means it's just the cab, if you would, and then there's a trailer. And as Aaron indicated, he can help with different types of trailers because you don't necessarily have to have one to have the other. Then we have some box trucks that, as you may have seen, like a U-Haul, it's a one unit deal. And then we have some other specialty equipment such as flatbed, which we're seeing a picture here, the refrigerated, which the big piece in the refrigerated is climate control. You have curtain side. And so this is for, and it tells you right here, just when things are a little odd shaped and you need a little more flexibility in trying to get it through a hole, you may want to consider this curtain side. Conestoga, I never really understood that one too much, but it's right here. I'm thinking it's for the really big ones, and if anyone can correct me on that. And then Carissa was talking about intermodal, which is also called drayage, and that just means intermodal, that it goes from the shipyard to the railroad and to a distribution center. So that's the inter and intermodal. And then hot shots, last but not least, hot shots are usually our pickup friends, our smaller friends that we call them what the baby trucks out there, even though some of those trucks are really, really nice. And I've always kind of said when insuring them, are you sure you want to get this one dirty? You sure you want to work in this really, really nice truck? But it's you got to have power to be able to haul power. And so as we talk about this, I'm actually going to go right into, and she didn't make it, but I'm going to go right into Hot Shots with one of our partners. Hot Shot Mac is their YouTube channel, and I think it's actually Mac Media technically now, but this is their website. So mactransportsandlogistics.com, and talking about the proper setups, because although we're starting with hot shots and many people feel that that's kind of a good entryway because it doesn't necessarily require a CDL, there are some hot shot setups that do require a CDL. And I've been working with Tim and Mila for the past 4 years, and actually have been their insurance agent all that time and was there when Tim got his CDL and have been able to take these oversized loads and stuff like that. But great education partner, and they also do the hands-on. They're based in Houston, but they kind of do classes a little bit of everywhere. And so just a shout out here for Mac and or Mac Transport and Logistics, Tim and Mila. And Mila is an active member of our community. So that brings me now to equipment. Where do I want to go with this? Um, yeah, because look, my other people are not here and it's throwing me off a little bit. So let's do this. So let's talk about just the things you'll need to know in regards to financing of equipment. And I'm gonna lean some on Scott to help me a little bit more in this area too. But equipment financing is a different animal than just going to the bank and just asking for some money. There's some reasons why you may want to do an equipment finance deal versus other reasons. And so this is a company that I'm connected to that actually has some dealerships as well as their own equipment finance in. And so nefnow.com is a resource that you may want to check out. I'm not going to go too much further in, but be considerate of the things you'll need to have, and we'll ask Scott here, in order to get these type of loans, because some of them for the semi trucks, you actually have to have a CDL license, even though you're just a finance partner. Lease to own, that's really more so that example. And then Aaron actually can talk about this a little bit more too, just using this website as a visual. So I'll go first to Scott. Scott, tell us in your own words and for us to better understand, what are some advantages of going the equipment finance route than the traditional going to your home bank route?
Well, I'm a little spoiled because I'm able to work with multiple lenders for different types of loans. And so when we talk to an individual, we find out exactly what their needs are. Because directing the loan to the right program is the most important part. For instance, major lenders have gotten away from lending to overnight or sleeper trucks. They don't, because the industry is tough, right? Right now, sleeper truck owners are having a harder time staying busy. So they become higher risk. And so we have alternatives with lenders that do like sleeper truck purchases. But as far as like equipment financing, for instance, equipment financing is easier to get. It's faster than a purchase loan would be. But depending on the equipment, some lenders don't like certain types of equipment because when you're doing equipment financing, let's say things go south for some reason and they're not able to make the payments. Their risk is higher because they know that they're going to have to repossess that equipment. And in a lot of cases with truck drivers and the trucking industry, repossession is next to impossible. So it's a higher risk. So we have lenders that are specifically designed, their programs are specifically designed for equipment purchases. I'm here to present for the APU, and we'll get into the financing of that when I present that. I know I'm rambling a little bit, kind of caught me off guard with the financing part.
No, you're good. You're good. And I'm sorry I didn't mean to put you on the spot with that. I just know that you
That's
can
okay.
probably answer more than what I can
Yeah,
in
of
this.
course, of course.
But
But there's different types of loans for different types of equipment, right? Heavy equipment we have different programs for heavy equipment versus small equipment. We have working capital for things with truck drivers that need money for other things besides equipment and besides the truck themselves. So again, a little spoiled because we've got all these different programs designed for the trucking industry. Do you mind if I share my website?
Sure, not at all.
Okay, the website is roadstarcapital.co. roadstarcapital.co.
All right, let me.
That's my last plug there. I'm happy to go on one-on-ones with anybody that's got questions. I'm happy to help.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Aaron, as someone who's in that leasing space of the trailers, can you give us some high level things that need to be considered as you're looking at using that option?
By the way, Scott, man, pleasure listening to you, man. It's always good talking to someone that's in the lending space and the financial lending space. So I'm sure you got unique insight. But in terms of the leasing space, I mean, obviously, if you're looking to, in our case, we lease out dry vans and flatbeds, particularly. We like to see at least 2 years in business. If you don't have 2 years in business, we like to at least see a good, strong record and references to just showcase that you know how to operate a trucking business, right? You have the sufficient cash flows and the ability to pay your lease payment. And so, we look at that. We look at your safety record. We go on the FMCSA website. We evaluate, are you a risk? Do you have a lot of accidents, a lot of violations? And we particularly kind of focus on like your maintenance record, right? So if we see high, out of service, where every time you pull into a weight scale, you put out of service, nope, sorry, I can't lease a trailer to you. And then a lot of it's kind of like the regional match. We look at, we focus particularly in the Southeast. And so, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida, obviously press to Florida, press to everyone affected by the hurricanes. Just want to put that out there. But, that's kind of what we focus on. It's more relationship driven. We want to understand what type of business you're doing. If you're doing local, a lot of our carriers that lease from us, primarily they focus on the regional runs, whether they're going from Chattanooga to Atlanta, or they hauling in and out of Birmingham over to Atlanta. So that makes us a little bit more comfortable because, to Scott's point, we've had situations where we had to repossess or get our equipment back, and it's one thing to recover equipment that's 100 miles from you. It's another one to recover equipment that's 1,000 miles from you. And we've been in those situations. And so it's just the unfortunate situation of the environment. Obviously, the post-pandemic boom and this trucking recession, as you guys can see, banks are, they're not comfortable lending, and but it does present a unique opportunity, I would say, from equipment acquisition, equipment financing, and building relationships with shippers. So I'll leave that for later. But from a leasing standpoint, yes, if you've been in business for a while and you have a good track record, at least 2 years, you more than likely could probably lease an equipment to you.
Awesome. Thank you for that insight there, Aaron. So, Carissa, as we're talking about the different types of equipment, I'd like for you to, if you're able to, talk a little bit more about some specifics with intermodal. And I'm going to share the UII website here. Is she on? I heard someone just dropped off. Okay, there she is.
Yep, I am. Specifics about equipment. So I would say, so one of the biggest differences in the intermodal industry, as Lada mentioned earlier, is intermodal means that it moves by multiple forms of transportation. So the owner operators in our industry, they actually are pulling steamship line containers. Their equipment is owned by another company. So the biggest need that we have, and like what I found in being in this industry, are for those owner operators, or excuse me, those drivers who want to become owner operators, may be in a position that they need truck financing. So you may not see as many, like we don't have the need for specific trailer leasing, but because we pull the containers. However, the chassis have become a need. Like in this industry, a lot of owner operators are trying to purchase their own chassis so that they don't have to rely on the port's equipment when it comes to the wheels. So for the need in the intermodal industry, I would say the power tracks, whether they are sleepers or whether they are day cabs, as well as chassis financing. But one of the big things also in the intermodal industry is their credit and, the amount of money that they have to put down. So they can't just go to the bank. From my experience, a lot of the owner operators can't just go to the bank and get financed. So companies, like companies like yours, that Roadstar Capital actually has helped many drivers that I know become actual owner operators and to be able to start their business. And then actually, as you know, as he mentioned, financing capital, because now you've purchased that truck, but you also need a maintenance account. You need some kind of you need that capital to be able to operate your business. And I find that they maybe from lack of education, but a lot of owner operators in our area, in the Charleston area, and I found it to be with a lot of ports, they really do not focus on putting up the money that they should. I always tell them, hey, you got to put up something for operating expense, you got to put up something for a maintenance account. So especially when they're first trying to transition from being a company driver or driving for another owner operator, and actually purchasing in their own trucks. We definitely have a big need for it in the intermodal industry.
Absolutely. And thank you for those highlights. So I see a lot of people when they're starting their authorities mistakenly put IEP provider. And so that's a very specific thing. It's the intermodal equipment providers, which need to be registered on FMCSA as well. So just make sure that if that is what you're doing, that you understand what it is that you're doing. And Carissa can definitely give you some more insight and such on that. I know Troy hopped off, but I wanted to say his piece here before we go into warranty versus insurance, and then we'll be going into a deeper dive into the lithium APU. Um, Credits and working capital are different. Um, I know amongst the group we're here, I really don't have to emphasize that, but I'm really just amazed in regards to financial literacy how people think it's one and the same. But my high level way of kind of thinking about it, and then I'll just get off my high horse with that, is one is how much debt do you have, and one is how much debt have you cleared. Just you need to be able to have money in a liquid state to pay for gas. And that's why I brought Scott on to talk more about the savings that a lithium APU can provide. And as Ms. Donna said, if you don't turn it off, it has to have an energy source. And that's a very expensive energy source when we start analyzing it. But just wanted to say that on a high level, make sure you know the difference between a business credit score, your personal credit score, as well as your working capital. It's not a score, but working capital abilities. Did anyone else want to add to that before? Because again, I'm not the expert in that. I was just trying to fill the spot before we move on to this next piece. Go ahead.
I'm going to chime in. I think it's a very important piece, and this is coming from a diesel mechanic perspective. I don't know if anybody can hear me. I know my phone was acting crazy.
You're here. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So the dirty side of running a shop. So this past year, been a tough business, tough environment. We unfortunately had to basically get mechanic liens on about 5 trucks. And the reason is that a lot of the carriers that, they might run into like a turbo might be like 5, 6, 7,000, transmissions, 9, 10,000, on and on and on. And so they bring the trucks to the shop, for us, we would take a deposit, based upon a certain threshold. But even after that, they still wouldn't have the remaining capital to fix the truck. And so, sorry, your truck can't just sit on my lot until you got to pay. You got to get the truck moving. So the unfortunate truth is that what we've been seeing is an increase of like involuntary carriers is going out of business. And what that means is that they just leave their trucks at the shop. And, it's not just my shop. I've talked to other shops throughout the region. One of the shops that I'm really close with, American Body Repair Company in Crestwood, Illinois. I believe they told me they did mechanic liens at about 50 trucks. And so it just echoing that point about maintenance, having a maintenance account. But I think it's even before you get to maintenance. I think a lot of times, we're not educated on the cycle of when and how you should buy a truck, right? So obviously you could buy a new truck, if you can finance it, great. But a lot of times, we're coming in the industry trying to just get the cheapest truck, right? I found the truck for 10 grand, 11,000, 12,000. And that truck has so many issues with it, right? And we just duct tape it, duct tape it, duct tape it until we break down in the middle of nowhere. And now we're just forced to go out of business. And so I just kind of want to echo that point that there is a way you have to buy equipment. You have to be knowledgeable about what you're buying, how to maintenance what you're buying, because it's not if you're going to break down, it's when you're going to break down. And when you're going to break down, you better be in position where you can get that repair and keep your company moving. And I'll say this, it's a double-edged sword, because for a lot of owner operators that are one truck, two truck outfits, it's not that you got this huge repair, but it's also you have no replacement equipment. So you're broken down at a shop for turbo transmissions. We're still dealing with parts that are, some parts are national back orders to this day. We're still dealing with issues in the supply chain with parts not being plentiful. And so that repair might take you 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And guess what? That's 3 weeks of gross revenue loss, right? On top of the repairs, on top of your fixed costs. So to echo you guys' point, with terms of this working capital, having sufficient cash, having savings, it's when you're in these pressure situations where you have to be in position to know what you're doing to get yourself out of it and continue to operate your business. So I'll stop there.
No, very much.
Could I interject, Lotta?
Go ahead, Scott. Mm-hmm.
So we have a program that is perfect for what he's talking about. Again, a lot of lenders don't want to lend on equipment financing, especially broken down stuff. Things like that can happen. So we actually have a program that covers startup businesses, which also lenders don't really like. But if you're starting a brand new business with a brand new truck or used truck, we have financing for you, because it's based on your personal credit worthiness. All right. What that means is if you break down on the side of the road and you got a major repair, it's $10,000 repair, right? And you're going to be out of business for a little while because obviously you're stuck on the side of the road. Instead of walking away from your business, we would give you enough capital to pay for the equipment repairs and put money in your pocket so that you could pay your bills. And all you need is a 680 credit score and proof of income, and that's it. And it's very reasonable. It's short or long term, and it'll keep you in business. It's very, very popular, very easy to get. The money's available, in your pocket like in a week, and it's a fantastic program. It's actually what we're going to be talking about with the purchase of the Lithium APU. Same program.
Excellent, excellent. So we're almost there. Real quick, you guys. Just again, a matter of education, because I know those that are watching this replay, some of them aren't as in depth into this, and that's why this was really important to talk about. Because before you go and pay for some of the administrative paperwork stuff that seems to be more accessible, you need to consider the true costs of the equipment and whether or not you want to manage equipment, everything involved, because again, just purchasing the equipment is only the beginning. And so that brings us to the conversation real quickly about a warranty versus insurance. I'm going to say this really high level because people do not really get this when we talk about insurance. The roadside assistance that is part of your insurance policy, if it is not specific to your truck. Okay, so again, if you just said, "Oh yeah, I got roadside," and you do a bunch of different vehicles, it really only covers some bare minimum type of things for the tractor only. For the tractor only. Okay, and so as I talk about that, we're going to go and look at some other resources that cover both the tractor or the vehicle and the trailer. But remember that those type of coverages for the roadside assistance are separate. And so I also warn people about the use of their insurance policy because we have this thing called loss runs. A runs report is a claims report, and it's based on whether or not you even are using your policy. It's how frequently you kind of inquire about those particular services. So, roadside assistance is meant to be more so, again, the emergency thing that happens. It's not quite an accident. That's a different category of how this stuff gets involved. But that it's something you might need more commonly, but you shouldn't be penalized for using it as you would be in a commercial insurance policy. So that's why a warranty plan for our commercial trucking businesses is really optimum because it's a separate policy that doesn't reflect on your insurance and it's made to be used as frequently as needed. So, Roadside Masters is a really popular one, and this is the website we're looking at. I can share more information about them high level here too. So Roadside Masters has programs for both the truck and trailer, and they even go down to a class one, which is our personal vehicles, because some people, like our medical couriers and such, are using vehicles of less than 10,000 GVW. And so, as you see this chart right here, it just kind of explains how all that's done. On this same website, I just want to do a quick highlight of the cost. So once again, the truck membership is 500 a year, or you can break that into monthly payments. And this again is just for the tractor, just for the tractor. They also cover RVs and buses. But then if you're looking at trailers, there is a separate coverage for trailers, but you can get a combo package on here too. So just remember that those wheels, tires for insurance, most of the time that's not a insurance reimbursable cost because there's wear and tear on it. There's an expectation. In fact, if you have ever had a total loss situation in life with your personal vehicle, if they gave you brand new tires, they took off a value, it's called diminished value, for the quality of the tires you had on the car at the time of accident. So yes, they'll give you the new tires, but they take off a percentage of the money because insurance is not meant to better you, or else everyone will just be turning in an insurance claim. So strongly consider the use of a warranty. Know what warranties cover versus what insurance cover. We'll probably do a deeper dive in that another time. But I did have one of our special guests that came on, and so I want to acknowledge her if she's at a good place in space. Miss Mila, are you able to do an introduction?
Hey, my darling. Sorry I was a bit late.
You're good.
It's our anniversary weekend, so I just took a
Oh,
few minutes to join and say hello to everybody.
tell Tim I
But
said sorry.
no, it's okay. He's over there shaving and doing manly stuff, so I have a minute. I'm making coffee.
Okay.
So I just wanted to join and just say hello to everybody. And you guys are in good hand. Lada, it's amazing. She's been a good friend for a few years now. My name is Mila. I am co-owner of Mac Transport and Logistics, where we focus our niches. Hot shot trucking, essentially, we're oversized, focusing on overdimensional loads, dispatching, compliance. We do a little bit of everything. We also do cargo securement trainings for flatbeds here in Houston, Texas. So that's just pretty much a little bit about me. Hopefully, we'll get to do another event together where I can join and just kind of share some more information with you all. But I appreciate you having me and inviting me, Lada, as always.
There's my mute. There you go. Thank you for coming. And again, didn't know. I know the weekends are hard, but it's also an opportunity here to, reach people that might not be able to during the week. But we have a lot of activities. As I said, check out the AAWTA website. Lots of activities there. So, without further ado, and I thank you for your patience, I want to go ahead and get into the conversation about the lithium APU. And so, I'm going to share screen as Scott walks us through it.
A quick note, I misspoke before. the website for the truck lending and truck financing, that's roadstarcapital.com, not co. roadstarcapital.com. And that's specifically for the trucking industry. Anyway, so APUs. A lot of you guys know what APUs are. APU stands for Auxiliary Power Unit. And it's designed so that you don't have to run your trucks 24/7 in order to stay comfortable in your cabs. That's the main purpose for it. With lithium APUs, we're different because we're not just making you comfortable, we're actually saving you quite a bit of fuel. Truck drivers know that their biggest expense is fuel. And so with a lithium APU, you're not using any fuel while being sleeping comfortably in your cab, watching movies, having air conditioning and a refrigerator going, while being quiet and clean energy that lithium provides. But what that means is the APUs that you're used to using or that you're already familiar with are diesel, which means there's a reduction in fuel, but still a fuel cost. So on average, running when you're idling, your idle runs about a gallon on average, a gallon of gas per hour. Call that $5 an hour, and then you can do your own math and figure out how long you guys idle for. But let's just call it 10 hours a day, which is probably a low number. That means you're saving $50 to $60 every single day that you're used to idling. That averages $1,500 a month that you're still spending in fuel. Where the lithium APU means that you're not using any fuel. Again, the traditional APUs that you're used to are still using diesel fuel. Lithium does not use any fuel. That means a lot less wear and tear. You know that not just truck miles, but truck hours are how trucks are judged. The values of your trucks are judged by the amount of hours. So you're cutting down with a lithium APU, you're cutting down your run hours by probably 60%, maybe even higher than that. So you're saving the life of your truck, meaning you're going to hold on to your truck a lot longer. So right there's a big return on investment. In fact, when I was first speaking with Lotta and her business being in insurance, her interest in the APU is quite high because with our system, the wear and tear on the truck means lower value, higher risk, which means if you've got a lithium APU system in place, you actually, and Lotta, correct me if I'm wrong, but you actually lower the risk, which means possibly better insurance rates. Lotta, is that correct?
That's correct. And I like that you mentioned that there is a difference between running miles and what's on the odometer. A lot of people don't know that because during an accident investigation, we actually ask those type of questions. So thank you for
Right.
bringing that up.
Now, if any of you are ever running into areas like the Permian Basin, for instance, with all the lease roads and all the wear and tear that these trucks take just by traveling those roads, know the amount of just damage, right? So APUs, traditional diesel APUs, are, because they're diesel, they have to be installed on the outside of the truck on the deck, which means they get a lot of dust, a lot of dirt, they clog up, there's repairs, there's ongoing maintenance, and because of all the vibration, et cetera, they take a beating. They're not meant for those kind of roads. Where the lithium APU is installed inside the sleeper cab. So it's not getting any of the wear and tear that the other types of APUs get, which means they last a whole lot longer. They also run quietly, and lithium is a pure, clean energy with no thermal runoff. And what thermal runoff means is that there's fumes and leakage, etc. So they cannot be installed inside the cab, where lithium can. In fact, it was first introduced in the RV world. So there was very high safety standards with RVs because, the systems are being installed literally under the beds. So now, with that said, the other part of traditional APUs is that they're quite expensive. And you can do the research on your own. Don't take my word for it. But a diesel APU runs anywhere from $11,000 to $14,000 just for the equipment, right? That's not including all the ongoing maintenance. So we've done all the math. If you own your truck and you use the diesel APUs, they in addition to the purchase price, all the maintenance, the ongoing maintenance that has to occur, and the fuel cost that still continues to build, you're talking about $35,000 spent in 5 years' time. With the lithium APU, our cost is only $6,900, almost half, and there's no maintenance and no fuel. So you go from $35,000 in 5 years down to $0 in 5 years with no maintenance and clean energy. Now, the financing, there's also financing available for it, and which is also kind of unheard of because, finance companies don't like equipment financing for these type of things, but they also don't like dealing with such a small loan amount. So they don't really offer financing because of that. So our financing includes the entire package. And that entire package consists of the system itself, which includes heating and air conditioning, by the way. It also includes installation and shipping and the upfront finance cost. The whole total amount for everything is $9,000. With your $1,500 a month savings, it would pay for itself in 6 months. So your return on investment is very fast. Then after those 6 months, well, where's that $1,500 going? Right in your pocket. So you're giving yourself a nice raise after the 6-month payback. Pretty great. I'm from the finance world. They approached me about putting a finance package together for them. And that's how I got involved. And I was already pretty involved with the trucking industry anyway, obviously. But when I saw the value of what this system brings, it's a game changer. And I wanted to get more involved. So I'm not quite the expert, but I'm part of a team that certainly is the experts. Our group consists of the head of manufacturing, and the head of operations, which includes all the installations. So lastly, I think I've hit everything. It'll come to me if it didn't. But we have advocates like Lotta, right? We're calling her a brand advocate because she also sees the great value that I saw. And she said that she can help quite a few of her colleagues, her trucking family, etc., introducing this product to them. And so I encourage you all to take a deep look at our website, which is power, the number 2, power.co. Power2power.co. That's my pretty picture there on the right, a few years ago. To the far left, that's the head of manufacturing. And centered there is Adam. I think Adam might be on this call as a spectator in case anybody has technical questions that's above my pay grade. But this is a real game changer in the industry. And so if some of you decide to not just be customers, which we really appreciate, but if you fall in love with it like we did, we would also like to offer you the ability to become a brand advocate yourself, which means if you introduce this package to others and they want to make purchases, then we have commissions for you. And so the commission structure is if you help us sell 9, if we install 9 units, that pays for your complete system. Because your commission should be $1,000 per unit. And by the way, if you know any fleet owners, this is a big game changer for fleet ownership. They're going to save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year just in fuel savings alone. So I got long-winded there, and I don't know if I'm supposed to take questions, but I'm happy to.
Sounds good. So again, to get in contact with Scott, you'll go on to the power2power.co website, and under the contact us form, under contact us form, you can put in your information, and then I just ask if you are watching this to kindly refer to my name, so they'll know that you found out about this opportunity through this network, and then you'll be able to have a more in-depth conversation with Scott.
Can I share my personal cell phone for anybody that wants it?
Sure.
All right, it's 203-300-7279. Again, it's 203-300-7279. It's a Connecticut number. I actually live in Austin, Texas. And thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much. And so we are just a little over off the top of the hour, but thank you for everyone that had a inputs and that were able to join us on live. And so what I like to do, just to allow everyone an opportunity to ask a question, is just kind of do the round robin in regards to what your takeaway was for today's event. This is really helpful in helping us structure useful content that you're not really getting anywhere else, or maybe not the depth that you're getting anywhere else. And so as Scott is still on camera, I'll let you start off here. What is your takeaway with today's event?
My takeaway?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that I was brilliant. No, no. My takeaway is this is my first time participating, and the group is strong. Very impressed with the group. And again, I saw last week's presentation, and I was really impressed. I'm really happy to be part of it, and the diversity of the subjects that you guys are broaching is really good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That's very helpful. And again, we try to make sure we vary it up because this is really an industry of opportunity. Natasha, did you have a takeaway?
I kind of dropped out due to my phone, but yes, these sessions are excellent. As mentioned, the subjects are very diverse and relevant and needed for this time. And this is great information today.
Thank you very much. So again, the replay, this is being recorded, so there's going to be a replay available on our socials, so you can catch and share this information with others. We had we had 17 registered, and so I'm not quite sure. I know some people were telling me there was a password issue, and so I always have to kind of double check our Eventbrite, but I do apologize if someone that said they were coming and weren't able to make it. Just let them know that there's a replay, and we'll be doing a similar topic again next month. All right, Miss Mila, any takeaways? And I know you came in kind of late, but I'll let you kind of share anything that you would like to see.
I mean, anything that you put together, Lara, it's amazing. So I'm just always grateful to be able to be here and just take away. Very interesting subjects. Definitely took away from that EPA. That was definitely interesting. Where I don't own any semis. I do know a lot of people that do. So that's definitely good to know. I never really knew the pricing for those things, and I think definitely that can be high benefit, and also the warranties. So definitely reaching out.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. And like you said, we'll be doing one specifically on hot shots here in the beginning of the year, I think is what we have kind of lined up, and we'll need your schedule and expertise on that. So thank you for all that you do in the community and how you're out there reaching all those people that this is like new, even though they're in the field. So thank you. And last but not least, Miss Donna.
Well, this is awesome as usual. And I really love the fact that we had different people in different aspects of trucking on here today, which is awesome. I'm actually going to go visit Mr. Man on Moreland when I get back. But really good to know that the difference is there's this product is very different from the what we usually have um in the trucking world, and I know so many people that could benefit from it. But you know, one of the things that you said, which had nothing to do with the APU ladder, and it just stuck with me, is the difference between warranty, the considerations of a warranty versus a claim, which is pretty unique. It has nothing to do with APU, but it gives you it was real good food for thought for being in this world,
Thank
in the
you.
trucking space.
Yeah, that's kind of my area right there. And we actually have a how to get into trucking insurance. So anyone who's interested in that, because it's insurance, but it's insurance on trucking compliance. So, I kind of share a bunch of my learning tips and a little bit about my journey in having an independent agency. So, no, thank you guys so much for this. Thank you again for investing your time, which you can never get back, with us here on a Saturday. Follow up. And if you're not yet a member of AUTA or you have not yet been able to contribute your business information to the marketplace, please reach out. You can email me at Lada at AUTA, so LADDA at AAWTA.org, and we'll get you connected. But we're going to go ahead and end the video now, and then I stay for just a few minutes in the room if anyone else has additional questions.
Thank you so much for today, Lotta. Thank you to our guest, and everybody have a great weekend. Sorry, I'm traveling.